Mothers are looking for good health care. Parents are looking for good health care. Parents are trying to find daycare for their kids as they try to find gainful employment commensurate with having children. Students or former students are trying like hell to pay off their student loans. People are trying to get food on the table the best that they can. There's much that the government can actually do, a responsible government, to mitigate all these issues, right? But what did the Republican Party decide to do? They decided to run an impeachment inquiry to figure out if the Biden family is corrupt. Well, of course, they have already called them corrupt, but they have no evidence, no proof that there is any corruption going here. So they want to create an impeachment inquiry just to find out if maybe something corrupt has happened there. And we are talking a few $1 million here and there. Of course, no inquiry was made when Donald Trump's son-in-law decided to get a $2 billion investment from a Saudi company, right? That wasn't a problem when he did it. I want you to listen to how Jamie Raskin handled the Republicans today at that hearing where they are going to attempt to vote on creating a impeachment hearing. Check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side.
Yeah, well, Mr. Speaker, I need a map to get out of the rabbit hole that Mr. Comer just took us down. But if you want to know what an impeachable offense looks like, here it is. When that man, a wannabe dictator, told that angry, violent mob to attack this Capitol building where we all are right now to overturn a free and fair election. This is what a smoking gun looks like. I now yield 3 minutes to the gentleman from Maryland, the distinguished ranking member of the Committee on Oversight and Accountability, Mr. Raskin.
Gentleman is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker. You know, the reason mysteries are called whodunits is because they start with a crime and then you have to try to figure out who did it. The Biden impeachment investigation isn't a whodunit. It's a what is it? It's like an Agatha Christie novel where the mystery is what's the crime? And that gets very tedious very fast. After 11 months of this, no one can tell us what President Biden's crime was, much less where it happened, when it happened, what the motive was, who the perpetrators were, or who the victims were. Maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen in Congress was yesterday in the Rules Committee when Congressman Neguse kept asking Congressman Reschenthaler what the crime was, and Reschenthaler, who's not on the Oversight Committee and is apparently just waking up to the joke, kept saying he didn't know what it was, but that's why we need an impeachment investigation to find out. And Neguse kept asking him, but what will the impeachment investigation be looking for? And finally, Reschenthaler said a high crime or misdemeanor, and Neguse said yes, but which one? Now, Neguse, of course, was involved in a real impeachment investigation of a real presidential offense, the incitement of a violent political insurrection against this Congress, against the Vice President of the United States, against the Constitution, and against the election of 2020. We did not need Sherlock Holmes in a magnifying glass to find the presidential crime with Donald Trump. It came right into this House and smashed us in the face. Now, it's true Chairman Comer has collected a mountain of evidence over the last 11 months, tens of thousands of pages of documents, dozens of hours of interviews with government officials, but all of it clearly shows that Joe Biden committed no crime. Even their own witnesses that they called to the only public hearing they had said there is not remotely enough evidence to justify impeachment. Chairman Comer has bragged on Fox News about procuring 100% compliance with his subpoenas. So forget about obstruction, which I hear them muttering about today. Mr. Speaker, I played a game with the little kids in our family at Thanksgiving. I asked them whether they'd seen my hen weigh. And when they said, what's a hen weigh? I said 4 or 5 pounds. It's a dad joke, and some of the bigger kids got it. But when I asked the little kids, like 3 or 4, if they'd seen my hen weigh, they said, what's a hen weigh? And I said 3 or 4 pounds, and they started looking for it. And when the other kids came along and asked what they were doing, they said, we're looking for Uncle Jamie's hen weigh. And then for hours, they were looking everywhere for my hen weigh, under the sofa and under the chairs. And it could go on for days like that. Mr. Speaker, we're all looking for the Republican Party's hen weigh. It just weighs 3 or 4 pounds, but it's costing us tens of millions of dollars. So please forgive me for spoiling the party here, but I want to say this to America. There is no hen weigh, and this stupid, blundering investigation is keeping us from getting any real work done for the people of America. I yield back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I love the way the guy ended it. Raskin points out all the different things that these guys claim they didn't get because they wanted to figure out if the president needs to be impeached. I mean, years, 11 months of research, 11 months of investigation, paperwork after paperwork after paperwork. Not one of them can tie the president to any wrongdoing. So what do? They try to create an impeachment inquiry to look into that as their own constituents are suffering. Maybe they should visit Appalachia. Maybe they should visit the poorest area in this country, Appalachia, and help those people out instead of grandstanding in front of Congress.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.